Okay, so clearly you can see we have standing water here in the sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go from the top, I don't think. So this is one of the reasons why I keep my rigid shop vac around. I don't want to use my Festool dust extractors for a task like this. So this M18 drain snake was pretty much plug and play. I just grabbed one of my M18 batteries, plugged it in, and fired it up, and it started working out perfectly well the first time I pulled the trigger. I didn't read the directions or anything, which is something I probably should have did, but I didn't do it. And yeah, so this is the process, or this is exactly how the tool works. I decided not to go in from the top of the sink because I couldn't get the drain portion, the stopper out. I wasn't quite sure how it was fixed in there, and I didn't want to break anything, so I just went underneath and took off the PVC pipe and decided to go ahead and snake it from this portion here. This is exactly how I did the sink downstairs in the kitchen, and I had good results with that. So before I did this portion here, I took off that U-joint, the PVC U-joint, and I put a bucket under there, and I ran the water just to make sure that the clog was not higher than this area, and it was doing okay. There was a little bit of old hair and stuff that was hanging down, so I cleaned all that away, and I even used my shop vac to kind of suction out anything from that top portion. And then obviously, as you can see here, I'm just going ahead and snaking the drain. Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. So today I'm coming to you with an unboxing. First, before I go into the unboxing, let me give a little bit of an explanation. So a few weeks back, I had to snake the drain down at the kitchen sink, and recently my wife just told me, or actually this past weekend, my wife told me that the sink in our upstairs bathroom was also starting to back up. And when I snaked the drain in the kitchen sink, what I utilized was basically one of those manual augers or snakes. And many years ago, I bought a Ryobi auger that I used for a while, or snake, if you will. And it actually worked pretty well when I used it. And what ended up happening is it actually broke. And once it broke, either I didn't have the receipt or something like that, because it broke prematurely. And so I was unable to kind of get made whole with that. And because it broke, it kind of made me a little bit apprehensive about wanting to go buy another Ryobi version of that. So for several years, I've been looking at what I have here, which is a Milwaukee version of that same thing, which is a drain auger or drain snake. Now, Home Depot offered a couple options. Well, actually they have more than a couple, but the two that I was looking at was the 12-volt version that goes about, I want to say 25 feet or so. And obviously it runs on the 12-volt battery. And then you have this, which is the 18-volt. It goes up to 35 feet. It has 5/16-inch cable, if you will. The cable is replaceable. This thing comes with a 5-year warranty. It has a 2-year warranty on the cable. So what I am bringing to the table today is an M18 fuel Milwaukee drain snake, if you will. And the reason why I went ahead and picked it up is the last time when I did the kitchen job and I had to snake the drain, I just honestly was not happy with the experience. I did it manually. Of course, you get really messy because you run the drain in there, and I tried to use a cordless drill with it, and so you have to pull it out manually to get it to extend down into the piping. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, you understand. But basically, going into your plumbing and piping is pretty gross. And what a drain snake gives you the ability to do is it automatically will propel the cable forward, and it will also retract. And somewhere on this box, it basically says that it's zero contact. So that means that I can pull this tool out, I can use it to snake the drain. When I push a button through battery power using the 18-volt battery, it will advance the cable throughout the pipe. It'll spin. It'll clean out whatever's in there, clogged hair, whatever the case may be. Clear that drain out. It'll go 35 feet. And then when I hit the reverse, like I drill, it'll pull it all the way back, wrap it back up into the container. And then I believe this one comes with a nice little storage bucket so I can put it in there. So it's going to be a clean operation. The fact that it has a 5-year warranty gives me a little bit of confidence. I had my Milwaukee miter saw that I owned for like 4 years and so. And when I took it in, when I found a person, or when I found a service center, I was able to take it in there and they made me whole and I didn't have to pay anything. So I'm thinking that I'm going to get the same type of experience with this. Now the actual cable, you can buy a replacement cable. As I said, this is the 5/16 35-foot cable. You can get it, I saw it on the shelf at Home Depot, so I can replace it, and I think it's about $50, something like that. So that will be fine. But 5 years for the device is going to be adequate for me. So I got home from work. It's probably like close to 10 o'clock now, but I got home from work and I had to do some work around the house, and my wife reminded me that the drain needed to be done. And since it wasn't that long ago that I'd cleaned out the drain downstairs in the kitchen, and this is just a recurring thing, you know, if you have a dishwasher, garbage disposal, if you wash your hair and hair goes down into the drain, eventually it's going to have soap scum and hair build up in your drain system, and it's going to need to be cleaned out from time to time. Now you can just Google it to find out how much it would cost to get a local plumber to come out and clear these clogs in an emergent situation, or just period. And I think that you'll find out that buying something like this is probably a better thing, especially if you can get that 5 years of life or even longer, because you're not going to be using it day in and day out. This particular tool, I'm pretty sure, is marketed to like plumbers, professionals, and so they would be using a tool like this day in and day out. So that's one of the reasons why I like to buy professional level tools, is because when you buy them, they may last you a lifetime. That's not 100% guarantee. That's one of the things that, like, say when I'm looking at something like a Ryobi brand, I'm concerned about the fact that those brands are made for the consumer, so they're not really built per se to last. And so if you buy something that's supposed to stand up for 3 years on a job site like a DeWalt tool, or 5 years like a Milwaukee, they're supposed to survive on a construction site, and you're just a typical homeowner who's doing jobs every now and then, it may be sticker shock at first out of the box when you first buy it. The bottom line is this thing will probably pay for itself in one use. And if I would have bought it before, because I did debate when I was doing the kitchen sink, before I got started, I had this discussion with my wife. I was like, you know, do you want me to go get the drain snake? And she did agree for me to go get it at that time. But, you know, I was thinking about it. This is not cheap. This cost $475. And so I decided at that point in time that, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually. And I did it. And as I did it, the whole time I was thinking, you know what, I probably should have just went and got the drain snake, because that's the second time that I had to clean out the kitchen sink where the garbage disposal is in recent memory. And, you know, at many different places that I've lived in my life, I've always had to, at some point in time, go down and clean, whether it be a toilet or a sink or whatever. So having something like this is very valuable to the homeowner, and it can be valuable to a renter as well, because it can prevent you from having to make service calls if need be, because it's a very intuitive device for the most part. I mean, essentially, you know, give a quick read of the directions. I don't always read the directions, but I've used one of these before, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do this unboxing, and then I'm gonna unclog that drain, and then and going forward, for myself personally, I think that, you know, here on Daddy Share Space, I like to share the things that I'm doing. I like to share different philosophies that I have basically developed over my 50 years on this earth. And essentially, whenever, and this is just for anybody, you know, if you care to know, if you spend money in this economy, or period, and you decide to open yourself a YouTube channel, I encourage you to do it. You have to look at these things from various perspectives. If I buy this today for $475 and I do this unboxing and I have a pleasant experience with it and I'm able to say, hey, this did a great job for me, that can influence potentially someone in the public who's doing research on something like this. They may decide to buy it for themselves. And as a result, what that does is, if enough viewers watch this video or any of my videos, it basically takes that $475 and it decreases the price based upon ad revenue, so on and so forth, because I don't have any kind of paying members and I don't do sponsorships. And so as a result, if I buy something new for myself personally, I'm sharing it with you guys, the public. Some of you may bypass this video and not want to watch it, which is fine. Some of you may be interested in it. But the bottom line is it can be a mutual thing where the viewer gets something, meaning if they're interested in something like this or curious about something like this, I'm an actual consumer that spent my own money on it, so you don't have to worry about me being influenced by someone that actually built the product. And then at the same time, so you can get information or data that you may be interested in, but then at the same time, I can receive, the money from YouTube's ad revenue based upon how it's actually structured. That doesn't cost you anything. I mean, it costs you your time if you decide to watch the video. However, I wouldn't imagine that you would watch the video unless you were interested in something like this, or if you were like potentially someone who likes watching Daddy Share Space, which, if you do, thanks for that. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into it and get the unboxing done. Actually, do I want to take it out the bottom or at the top? Let me try the top here. Turn it up like this here. So what fell out the top when I opened it, you got your directions and such here. This particular model is model 2772A21. You can get a look at the top there. Got some plastic baggage. And then actually it's upside down. So let's turn it over the other way. All right, you can see the handle there. We'll pull it up out by the handle. All right. So there is the container. It's got a nice amount of weight to it. Now, let me just read off some of the specs here. So apparently, it's got 2 times the power of corded. It's it has cable drive, lock feed system, automatic feed and retraction with cable lock, so you can lock it. So if you lock it in place, you can it'll just spin the cable. But then if you turn it in the forward motion, then it'll advance the cable. If you put it in reverse, it'll pull the cable back. It's a 0 contact drum, best protection, mesh contained. It has the strongest cable grip regardless of the cable diameter. And then it eliminates accidental locking during automatic feeding. It has a drum capacity of, it looks like the inner core, you can put a 50-foot 1/4 inch. You can put up to a 50-foot 5/16 or a 35-foot 3/8. But it happens to come with a 35-foot 5/16. So that's nice to know that it has expandability that you can use with this. Fully enclosed drum, less mess. Now this particular setup does come with a charger. It looks like it's a dual charger. It has the M18 and the M12 charger, the storage bucket, which you see here. It has 2 amp hour battery, and then the inner core 5/16 by 35-foot drain. Again, it's a 5-year tool warranty. The battery has a 2-year warranty, and the cable has a 2-year warranty as well. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Take a look and see how that latches. That's what it's looking like on top. You can see there. We've got our charger. You've got our 2.0 amp hour battery. Just some literature here. Probably one of those scan to win games. Man, that would be nice to win. We've got the charger. It is the dual. You've got the 12 amp hour or the 12 volt battery and the 18 volt battery charger. This is, it does not appear to be a rapid charger. And then this is just like a plastic protective shield type of thing. So that's nice that you can store it all together. I do like that feature. But it doesn't have a handle on it, so there's that. So we'll pull this out, set it to the side, and then let's go ahead and pull out the drain snake. Now this thing is pretty beefy. Alright. So you can get a look inside the container there. I like this whole setup. Now, of course, this is going to take up a lot more space than the previous model that I had. The Ryobi was way smaller than this. This thing is pretty darn beefy. It looks like it's got some kind of a clutch chuck here. So there's a lock here, and then it looks like when you turn it maybe to one side that's how it's going to advance. We'll give that a try. Actually, no, I think it's just a lock here. So you turn it one direction to lock it, another direction to get the cable to advance. It has a forward and reverse right here on the handle. Now, looking at it, it looks like it has a little bit of stuff here, grease or something on the device. The way that it was taped would make me think that there's a possibility, I mean, I'm not for certain, that maybe this could have been opened, or maybe that's just the way they packed it. Who knows? Maybe somebody with dirty hands packed it up. This is where your 18 volt battery is going to go. It's got a nice rubber foot on the bottom for you to be able to sit it flush on the ground. I like that. This is a lot larger than the one that I had before, but let's not spend too much more time on the unboxing. I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing up and use it. And so yeah, let's see how it works.